What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing something a little differently. I'm going to skip all the theatrics, all the fancy intros. You know, I've been gone for a while, had some things going on, but we're getting back into the swing of things. However, you can't see him. I'm kind of covering him up, but that's only temporary. Emong, on the Overwatch side of things, made a video reacting to the new DPS character of Vendetta's kit. About midway through, he switches gears and talks to the tank fan base, and then he touched on a lot of things that I feel like should have been its own separate video, coming from a guy like Emong, who arguably is the best, the most popular tank representation in the Overwatch scene. However, he decided to do it at the tail end of a DPS hero kit video, so whatever. Today, though, there are about 8 sections or 8 points that he talks about that I would like to go over, so that's what we're going to do in today's video. Be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel for more tank and Vanguard content. I'm going to be trying to do more Overwatch tanking content on this channel. It's going to still be primarily Marvel Rivals, but I am going to try to weave in some more Overwatch. So without further ado, enjoy the video. Now, the way this is going to work is I'm going to play it in segments. I have the segments written out here. We're going to listen to what he has to say. I'm going to pause it, and then we're going to go over my thoughts. And yeah, we're just going to go like that back and forth. And yeah, so here we go with the first part.
You said you personally don't see them adding another tank until they make tanking fun again. Do you want my like hot take, or maybe it's not a hot take? It's not that tank isn't like necessarily fun. It's just that 5v5 tank is a little bit of there's a lot of an ask on 5v5 tanks sometimes. Like, and I've noticed that with playing more of the open queue. Just, you know, I always say I play more like 5v5 and I don't mind it. But what I've realized is that the amount of pressure you don't have on you as a tank in 6v6 in comparison to 5v5 is like night and day.
Starting it off with the age-old 5v5 versus 6v6 experience. In my opinion, 5v5 tanking will never be a better experience than 6v6. Solely because of the burden, the pressure. Like if you have a second tank with you, if you have a second DPS, if you have a second support, you know, they can contest to this. You share the burden, you share the damage you have to deal out, you share the healing you have to give, or the support. When it comes to tanking, imagine not being able to share the damage you have to mitigate. Like it's not a fun load to put on one player. You know, and that's not even talking about the CC that you have to endure, or the burst damage that you receive at once. Like imagine having 600 health and all of a sudden you're at 250 from a single exchange. Like that gets really crazy, and like it does something to you as a player. You're like, what am I supposed to do about that? And then another thing that we'll end up touching on later is that solo tanking very easily can become a rock, paper, scissors game. Everybody knows it. If you're in the Overwatch scene, you know about the rock, paper, scissors meta. It just becomes who can counterpick the other tank first, the fastest, the best, maybe even who can come out of spawn the luckiest.
So it's not about them like making tanks fun. Like truthfully, if I'm having a good game on, let's say, Hazard, I'm having a blast. But the problem is that it's not the whole lobby having a blast at that point. And I think that's where I think they're still trying to figure out how do you not make tanks be like these massive HP pools that just block, right?
But just on that section alone, he actually touches on some stuff that it takes a little bit of thinking. But basically what he's saying is that to have fun on tank, it's at the expense of the entire lobby. And there's a lot to unpack on just that alone. I don't really think maybe he realized what he said, but maybe he didn't as well. And I'm not trying to jump the gun here. We'll end up getting to it, but basically this next little part here, he's saying that you can't have fun on tank unless everyone else isn't, and that's a problem. I also don't know if I necessarily agree, because as long as I'm not being like incredibly counterpicked, hard focused, or bitched at by my own teammates, I can have fun playing my favorite characters even in a loss. However, I also believe that this new 5v5 format is making them change their tank philosophy to make them all raid bosses. And it's taken away the uniqueness of these characters, and it's taken away really just the uniqueness of tanking in general. I will say it to the day I die. It's my hot take. I will die on this hill. But Hazard is fucking booty cheeks, and not the good kind. He is ass, and he is the perfect representation of everything wrong with modern 5v5 tank design. Like he literally does it all. He has some of the best mobility that a tank has in Overwatch. Both forms of his damage mitigation deal damage themselves. He has a really insane ultimate for what it's worth. His primary and his melee are really good, and I only say that because there's characters like Reinhardt whose primary is his melee, so I just kind of thought it was funny that, again, this have-it-all tank has both a melee and an independent primary. I don't know if the perks were updated or not, but last time I checked, he had lifesteal on one of his blocks. Like Jesus, like they literally made tank Jesus. It's insane.
It's one of those things where, yes, I think that, they could do a little bit, stop going down just give tank a block or like a damage reduction. Go more of like that queen route. How you fix that and like that setting for a tank, I don't know. I don't know if you ever can, because like no matter what, you're the solo tank, you're taking all the pressure, like you're gonna have that. So
how do you fix solo tank pressure, or the pressure that a solo tank receives? You can't. You can't. Not in 5v5 role queue. Any world where there can only be one singular tank, you will always receive the most pressure. You will always feel the most oppressed. And I'm sorry, but you can't complain, because you chose to pick that game mode. You chose to go into 5v5.
I have a feeling eventually they'll look at tanks, but right now, like I think their vision is that there's so many DPS and support like players that why even do that right now? Like prioritize that and then eventually go back there.
When I heard him say this, and I'm trying not to yell, this microphone is really bad, but when I heard him say this, I think at this point is when I decided I'm going to do a reaction video to this. Because Emong, he's such a great dude. Like, there's really not a negative or bad bone in this dude's body from content perspective. I don't know him personally, but like he genuinely seems like such a great dude. And I make this comparison all the time about how you can have the most positive creator and the most negative creator, and everyone's gonna look at the most negative creator and think, oh my god, they're so bad, it's so negative, like there's no good in that. But if you think about it, they're really just the same head, or different heads of the same coin. It's like too much of a good thing is bad, and too much of a negative thing is bad. And I think Emong is too much of a good thing, because for him to sit here and tell us that he thinks tank is just the least popular role, and that the Overwatch devs see that and they'll come back to us later, how does that not infuriate you as a player to know that just because you're the least popular role, you're overlooked in a game like Overwatch? Then you gotta think of it like this might not be his belief, but it might be Team 4's. It might be the Overwatch devs who actually are behind the scenes that are making all these decisions. Because why invest time and effort into the least popular role? Your return isn't gonna be worth the effort, right? Like there's just not gonna be a point. My argument is because we fucking exist. Because we're here, we're playing the game, we still support it, we still buy the skins, we still queue the role, we still climb the ranks, we still pick the characters. Like, we're still here, we're playing the game. And again, I'm trying not to get too worked up, because this is just his theory. We don't know it's concrete. We'll never know for sure. They'll never tell us this. But I do genuinely hate this argument, because it does get brought up a lot. Tank is needed. And personally, if they are running out of ideas for tanks, if they're running out of solutions for the problems, then just remove the role. I honestly, at this point in time, just remove the role, make it something else, split it into two, or do what you got to do. But I feel like the more you're going to feed into these other roles, the least popular tank is going to become. And considering how it's treated now, it must be like a record low popularity. Like it has to be down there. And again, this is something that they will never tell us. We will never know this for a fact or not. We can only assume, but I think it is easily safe to say that tank is the least popular role. And on the road that we're going right now, it's looking like something's going to happen to the role, whether that it's completely removed or divided up, or just completely all the characters are changed and overhauled. I don't know, but I hope that this mindset of it's the least popular role, so it deserves the least amount of attention, isn't the case.
Again, I want to reiterate one more time. I actually think this hero looks really sick, and I'm excited to play this hero next week. Now, to the tank discussion that we're talking about, one thing I have said to this is that my concern is that the further they go away from not putting a tank into the game, the more likely that you're going to have less and less players queue and tank. Straight up. Big players are just, I mean, maybe the numbers aren't there, right? I don't have that data, so I could be BSing. But like, the further you go away from not giving tanks something new to play with, the tanks they're gonna go play other roles or try other stuff, and then just.
This might be the spiciest thing I've ever heard him say. Like, this might be the most negative thing I've ever heard him say. But again, yes, me and him, I agree completely. The best content you can put in a hero shooter or any game where there's a unique character that you can choose is more characters. And again, I am not mad that Vendetta is a DPS. I am moved on from that. I am not mad that Vendetta as a character is a DPS. I am mad that they released a DPS. They could have saved her for the next character and gave us a tank, because at this point in time, it has been over a year. It will be over a year when we get a new tank. So it's already the least popular role, the least supported role, the least appreciated role, and now we're getting the least content to play. I just think it's a horrible like business design. And for those of you who didn't know, yeah, the last tank we got was Hazard last December. Popularity be damned, that is unacceptable. I think it's time that we look at their hero release schedule. But then again, the quality of mythics are dropping at the new pace they're running with, so maybe we shouldn't. I don't know.
It's when I love tanking, but like it is when you tank, you take all the damage, you have all the pressure on you, you have all the people like blaming you, and that becomes a problem with tanks sometimes. Again, I don't mind it because I love the competitiveness of it, but I understand the pain point and the frustration from people who play the tank role and would be frustrated in this scenario.
Now, I don't know about all you other tank players, but for me, this tank experience is why I choose tank. We love the challenge. We love being the biggest. We love being in the front. We love being the initiator. We love the experience. But like tanking in 5v5 in Overwatch, maybe tanking in Overwatch as a whole is a 2-pack of ass, and I will tell you why. For me personally, there are 2 main reasons, right? One, maybe it's just my rank, my plat and diamond. I haven't really grinded the game to get out of either, so maybe it's just my rank, right? But everything seems to be so poke dependent. Everything's poke. You have to spend all your resources to get to the fight, that by the time you get there, you have to rely on your team to keep you up until you get them back. And it's just like, I don't want to spend over half my kit before I get to play the game. You know what I'm saying? And then secondly, and again, this is probably just the style of tank that I like to play, because I like to play main tank, Ramantra, Sigma, Reinhardt. But God forbid you don't have a shield, because then you're just everyone's prime target with their CC. And if your shield does break, Reinhardt, you're as fucking useful as a paperweight. Like at that point, like there's nothing you can do. You're done. You're an alt battery. It's over.
Well, the counterpick is a whole different story. That is the next level of that one. The problem with counterpicking, and we'll rotate back to the tank discussion here, is that every single player in a game thinks that the tank is the only one who needs the counterpick. That's not the problem. If I'm a Zarya, right? Say I'm playing on Diva. The other person goes Zarya. All right? I go, okay, I can't play Diva now. Like, this is, I don't really want to deal with this. Truthfully, you can play Diva in 5v5 against a Zarya. So I swap Zarya. Okay, now their DPS swaps Bastion. And then you go, oh, I can't deal with this Bastion. I need to play more passive. Then your teammate's like, Zarya, push in. What are you doing? Zarya, come on, get in there. It's like, they have a Bastion, and like, you cannot, Zarya's #1 hard counter on DPS is generally Bastion. Get in there. Come on. I can't push. Can somebody else do the same thing? No! You're only the one supposed to switch, not me.
See, again, great point. Great spicy take. Laughs at the end to try and calm all the nerves. But no, again, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And again, I'm not going to try to jump the gun here because I think I'm going to touch on it, but like your teammates play a huge role in the tank experience. But again, I think I'm jumping the gun. Actually, no, we're moving right on as we should. So yeah, so like you said, like tanking highlights one of the most underlooked issues within Overwatch, and that would be the teammate toxicity towards their tank players. If everything's going to shit, you're the first person they say is getting skill gapped. You're the first person they're asking to switch. If you don't pick the meta tank, you're going to be the first person they say is throwing. And I'm glad he said that little scenario there about the whole character thing because yeah, like, we will counter swap. Like, we're genuinely the first ones to do it, and we typically counter swap the tank. If they go Zarya and I go Winston, cool. I'm winning that little tank exchange. But now if their DPS go Reaper, I'm gonna need somebody to do something. Like, somebody has to make a switch. Somebody has to make a switch, because I'm not gonna sit there and be an ult battery for Reaper just so I can counter Zarya. Like, I'm not doing that. And then there's a part 2 to this, so let's listen to that real quick.
That's a whole nother layer of it. That basically, like, sometimes in the counter swap game, you also need your teammates to swap with you to make it work. But then they don't want to do that. You're the one. Again, whole experience there.
Yeah, I don't like how he just waves this off, because he's absolutely right again, and it needs to be shared by more mainstream creators. Yes, sometimes your teammates need to also swap. I can't be the only one playing patty cake with the other fucking tank. And I swear to God, if I don't start seeing more Annas in my game when they're being dove by Ball or Doomfist, like, it's so crazy to me how people don't pick Anna. I don't know, it's crazy to me.
So what's the point of skipping tank though? I mean, it could be multiple things, right? We don't know what like their future plans are either. Like, we don't know what their future plans are, of course. I mean, maybe they do 2 tanks in a row or something, right? Maybe they wanted to finally kind of change, like, they wanted to kind of go into, actually, there's also another thing here too. And again, this could be this would be the timing to do it. Okay. Chat, in about, what is it? The 20th? Okay. About a week after December 9th, Blizzard goes on break for 3 weeks. I think they might be a little bit hesitant after what happened with Mauga and a little bit of Hazard.
The last section, as he said, why wouldn't they release a tank now? Like I said, I'm not even mad Vendetta is a DPS. Y'all can have her. I have a slight suspicion she's about to flop worse than Alari, but that's a topic for another day. Y'all can have her though regardless. But back to why they wouldn't release a tank just in general. Now, he cracks a joke about how they're going to be going on Christmas break and they might not want another Malga situation. And for those of you who don't know, they typically, at the end of the year, they go on their Christmas break just like everybody else. But the past couple years, I think we've been getting a tank in December, a Hazard and Malga the year previously. And they released in a very broken state that was very problematic for the game. And everyone was gone, so nobody was able to balance and patch the game. So for like 3 weeks or for a few weeks or whatever, the game was just in this very specific meta that nobody really had fun in. So he's saying that, you know, maybe possibly they could be trying to avoid that again by releasing a DPS. Now, to me though, that sounds very, I don't want to say sinister, but problematic, because that kind of tells me that they don't trust themselves with their tank designs anymore. Now, you can be optimistic and say, well, that's great. You know, that means more time for them to cook, more time for them to focus on a character or a tank that everybody will love and will bring light to the game and life to the role, right? Or you could look on the other side of that and think, maybe they're scared, maybe they're hesitant, maybe they don't have any more ideas. My running theory is that they are in this position where they don't know what tank style is healthy for the game. I'm assuming they are sticking with 5v5 moving forward, and they don't know what style of tank will be healthy for the role. So instead of rushing a new tank now and just giving one, they thought it'd be easier to release a DPS character that appealed to the tank player base. Now, like we said earlier though, to wrap this up, that's just problematic, because if you pull away from people playing tank, it just makes every tank release that more important. Because if they release a tank and it's a very bad tank and it flops, I mean, what, I'm gonna have to wait another year potentially? I don't think anybody's gonna do that. So there's a lot of pressure on them that this next tank release is a good one. My Overwatch content primarily is for the tank player base. This is my role. This is my love. So if you're like me, by all means, leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe to the channel for more tank content. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching the video, but please just let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments below, because I'm honestly kind of scared for the future of the tank role, and kind of excited too. I'm rooting for them, because I don't want to see it go. I don't want to see Reinhardt and Sigma and all my favorite tanks that I've come to love just up and disappear, or maybe get reworked to some weird DPS, even though they kind of already feel like DPS. But that's, again, besides the point. Just let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, because yeah, I am scared for the future of this role. So thank you guys again for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.